Okay, so putting it together, all the teams need to be aligned on what is the sales process and how it's articulated or snapshotted into the CRM. The data hygiene and consistency is what determines the subset of all data that can be considered for RevOps for, let's say, forecasting. And going back to the sales motion, we need to understand which are the sales motions which are consistent, which ones are new. And we need to segment by different sales motions because each of them may have different level of variance. We have experienced this ourselves. Some of the older sales motions have been very, very consistent. They have a less than 10% or even a 5% variance on the forecast on a quarterly basis. Some of the newer sales motions have had more than 20, 30% on the forecast. So yeah. And okay, so this is my final slide. So the consistent sales process is the strategic foundation to a quality pipeline and quality forecast. Maintaining pipeline hygiene is very, very important, but it comes at a secondary or at a tactical level. So it is the sales process and its consistency and the way it's snapshotted, which clearly determines the outcome, which is the forecasting. And remember the Clear Lake analogy, which connects the sales process, the pipeline, and the forecast. I would like to say that this is what has worked for us, between Series A and now we are post Series C. I'm sure that as we scale up, there are a lot of different complexities which come into picture. But yeah, this has worked for us till now. So yeah, thanks for this opportunity once again, and happy to take any questions.
Hey Vish, great job. Thanks so much for the chat. You talked about this being important. Clear understanding, visibility into pipeline being important for all teams. What do you mean by all teams? You literally mean every part of the organization, and does that vary depending on the size or maturity of a company?
Right. So I just meant by different teams, meaning some teams might be geographically divided, like we have a APAC team versus a US team, and also within these geographies we have different divisions, like which are focused on inbound or outbound or channel partnerships, or just managed expansions. So from that point of view, I'm specifically focusing on the sales teams, not the entire organization. But yeah, even within these teams, I've seen sometimes that there is a misalignment with regard to some of these terminologies. Something as simple as the sales stages. What does it mean when an opportunity is qualified at the first stage, where it's qualified? What is the meaning of a qualified opportunity? What is the meaning of a proof of concept, for example? So we've seen opportunities where teams have had different alignments, and we've had to do cadence and communication to realign all the teams on the definitions of all the stages, for example. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. And listen, you're probably not oblivious to the fact that like RevOps is an exploding and has been exploding for a while. How important do you think is alignment around pipeline or understanding pipeline to other parts of that kind of RevOps organization? If you subscribe to the idea that RevOps is really made up of like marketing, sales, ops, and in some cases CS.
Yeah. So RevOps is definitely critical in that we are looking at very, very operational elements, such as managing the tech stack, managing the data, and we also manage at the high level KPIs and looking at the strategic performance of the organization. So the pipeline, very interestingly falls between the strategic layer and the operational layer, in that we are looking at the pipeline data and how it's being generated, how it's well attributed at the operational level, and at the strategic level we are looking at how it's being generated, what are the sources of generation, are we meeting the targets, and so on and so forth. So yeah, from a RevOps standpoint, I think pipeline is one of those critical elements, given the fact that RevOps, in today's function works with the sales, marketing, CS, finance, and the leadership. So pipeline is at the heart of all of these different teams. And yeah, looking at both the low level, which is the operational level, and the high level, which is the strategic KPI level, RevOps can give a 360 picture of the pipeline to all of these different teams.
Right. We just had a really interesting chat with Jason Reichel. He's a CRO of TrustLayer, and his premise was that the repeatable sales process is dead. Right, this notion of like, the same stages over and over again, shifting from marketing to an SDR for qualification, and then to an AE for the sales motion. And really, it's more about taking a position as like a trusted advisor to this prospect and customer, and being consistent across that customer journey. When you think about that concept and the fact that, like, hey, to accurately measure pipeline, there needs to be an underlying process. There needs to be steps that everybody follows. There needs to be a framework by which we measure. How would you like respond to Jason's idea that there isn't a repeatable sales process anymore?
That's a very good point. I'm not able to comment on that. Maybe I need a bit more of time, because as we scale the company, definitely the sales strategies, the whole GTM strategy, I see it's slowly shifting. But yeah, I'm not in the exact position to comment on that. Maybe 6 months to 1 year down the line, I would be happy to take on that question.
Yeah, Vish, maybe take a look at his hot take, and
Okay.
maybe you can come back on the next Hot Takes Live and share your view on that.